Hello everyone, here we are back for another guide, Vineyard Acres, par 5, hole 5. Very challenging hole here. What you end up doing is going to be very dependent upon the second shot, and if you don't think you can get it up to a certain spot that may be adequate for going for the green in 2, you could potentially back off and not go with a Titan. This is a very tough wind to keep this in the play, miss the tree. It's going to be kind of a 1 in 1,000 type shot. It's going to be very challenging. So let me try this. I'm going to go relatively full and try to thread this right around 6 rings or so. And did not hit perfect ball. Probably going to clip the rough and be in a lot of trouble. So it is going to show you that high risk, low reward type situation. But here's the good news. This is a very challenging hole, and my opponent here is going to have equally a hard shot off the tee. So what I'm going to be able to do is position my second shot, especially with a Titan ball. So if I do use that extra ball, I can really give myself, even with that mistake, be able to easily get myself up to the next fairway, to where I'd easily be able to get to the green in 3. So that's what you'll see me do for my layup, would just be to, take it very conservative, make sure that I get it back into the fairway. Don't compound your problems. As I mentioned, with this curl, the way that my opponent's doing it, very unlikely that, they could pull this off perfect and actually hold the fairway and be down there long enough to actually get to the green. So, in fact, here you're seeing clips the rough. It's going to be a very shielded shot and really nowhere to go anyway. So, as I was mentioning, you can just kind of go down to a, navigator ball, no problem on this hole because of that situation. And here you can see that I'm, not going to overexert anything. Just put it back in play. Make sure that I'm, down here far enough past that rough to where I'm home free, easy, no matter what. I'm going to have a path towards the green. I don't need to overdo anything there and put it in the rough another time and really, push me towards the max club again. So just getting it up there to long iron range should be good enough, and all you should really be focused on doing. Let me see what bag I have. I think it's a backbone. Yeah. Okay. So, ideally, in some perfect winds, you'll want to drive up in here. It's very challenging to pull off. You can probably find it in a few of my streams, or, for example, I think this was St. Patrick's Day tournament was at this course, so you might be able to find some videos in that tournament as well if you wanted to see some of those drives and kind of how it works. I was unable to get there. It's going to be, birdie is going to, suffice more times than not. So here you can see there is usually a little bit uphill. However, I'm going to play this, since it's straight into the wind, I'm going to up my elevation about 10%, and actually I'm going to be playing relatively close to the max value as well. So you can see that I'm going to barely creep it onto the green, and I'm thinking right around 80% or so, with a little bit of side spin, try to get around the pin a little bit. So what you're going to see me do is maybe push towards 4.5 rings, somewhere in here. I couldn't get my perfect ball, so probably going to block it out towards the left. Well, I hit it a little bit deep. As you can see, my ring adjustment was probably a little bit heavy, and I really didn't have a lot of time to sit there and play with it. As you can see, I was getting a little bit tight talking too much. So nevertheless, more than, happy with that shot. It's fine. It's going to be, a very hard eagle hole. So you just want to kind of position yourself the best you can, especially with Guardian in your bag. If you can get that sniper scenario, having that extra top spin will give you an extra bonus if you can hold that fairway for certain winds, especially if it was a You can see this is our third shot. We had on our second shot and third shot, we had straight into the wind. So anytime that it's straight into the wind, especially back to back, it's going to be a very, very challenging eagle hole. So one of the luxuries of using a Titan, that there's one Vineyard acre hole, which is a shootout. I forget what hole it is, maybe hole 2 on Vineyard acres, and it's going to be very long. So without the use of a Titan ball, for instance, if we got it and we got an unusual wind, my opponent could be kind of rendered a little bit useless with not having, that extra distance. So just something to be thinking about, for this tour. You can get in a little sticky situation. But I'll catch you guys on the shootout coming up, and see you momentarily.